Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk about the resource recovery changes and class changes a little bit. This is from the patch notes. I put the link in the description. Now, first things first here, ESO has always been about fast-paced action, where resource management plays a large part in performing effectively. Now this is nicely worded, and I do agree with this. Problem now, currently on Homestead, PvP, you can build your character with unlimited sustain, have high, like you're really tanky and high damage. That's a problem. PvE, if you have a good group, you actually also can sustain well. Or if you use one cost reduction glyph, you're good to go. Now the thing is, what they did is they removed so much cost reduction and recovery and all that things. It is basically impossible to say. Well, you can, when you test it, you kind of see where it goes to, and I don't think it's that healthy for the game. For me, the champion points changes are great. Cost reduction there, remove it. That's what they did, and that's good. But I personally was surprised at all the other changes. I was like, whoa, what? This is overkill. Now, what else did they do? I will get into the classes after the resource thing. Now, light, medium armor. So basically, on Homestead, currently, each medium or light armor piece restores 3%. Gives you 3% cost reduction. In Morrowind, it only gives you 2%. So, in Morrowind, when you have 7 light or medium, you only gain 14% cost reduction, whereas in Homestead, you gain 21%. So that's 7% here, and another 16% from the champion points. Gone. Bye. And then on top of that, medium armor received another nerf. Where is it here? Oh, instead of being 20% cheaper, they're now only 15% cheaper. So medium armor got more nerf than light armor. Or like, let's say stamina builds got nerf more than magic builds did in terms of resource management. Now, I do personally think this is a complete overkill. And my problem, like, I don't know what they're planning to tune down resource management, right? Like, they don't want unlimited sustain and that kind of thing, but it's like, I just don't know why they do it like this. Like, why not implement the champion points changes in Homestead, in the middle of Homestead, see how those 16% cost reduction gone affect the gameplay. And then if they're like, okay, it still feels like it's too easy to sustain, then they could implement light and medium armor changes. But now, we really, like, so much things got tuned down. It's complete overkill. And I wouldn't even mind this, but the problem, like, heavy armor, this like, deserves the nerf, right? Constitution. I think that's good. But here, I really think they need to remove this. And now, my problem with this overall, PvP-wise, it's actually not that bad. But the thing is, on the non-champion points campaign, currently on Homestead, it is already difficult to sustain because cost poisons and all that kind of thing. And with those further nerfs, like, you didn't have the champion points already, but now with this being even nerfed more, I'm not sure, like, if it will be even possible to sustain on the no CP without completely sacrificing damage. And then Battle Spirit is too strong, nobody's gonna do enough damage, nobody's dying, so we have the same issue. PvE wise, there is a problem. Currently, you have heavy attack builds and you have cost reduction builds, right? So by cost reduction, I mean people put like 2 or 3 spell cost reduction on a build. So let's take Magicka Sorc. Heavy attack build does like 35k DPS, just an example. Cost reduction build, 25. That's the problem. There is no balance. I wouldn't even mind those nerfs, but there is no balance. So they need to bring those on the same level. Because at the moment, cost reduction builds, it's not even a discussion, they're useless. Completely useless. Heavy attack builds, it's the only viable option currently. And that's not good, that's not healthy for the game. Because, like Zenimax even said in the patch notes, they want to have a fast-paced playstyle. And whereas I personally don't mind heavy attack builds, I do know a lot of people are angry because they don't want to do heavy attacks. So, for example, on a Magicka Sorc, when we test this on Morrowind PTS currently, like when you look at my build, Mystic, for example, or the Summoner from the pet build, not a lot changes. But when we look at those two different builds, heavy attack build, all you do is you remove force pulls and instead do heavy attacks. And you basically get as much damage as previously, right? But if you want to keep the force pulls, then you need to make adjustments to your gear or like jewelry and all that kind of stuff to be able to sustain, because so much cost reduction is gone. So what do? You place cost reduction glyphs on your jewelry, which means you lose a lot of spell damage, and maybe you even have to run a set or a food that gives you Magicka recovery, so you lose even more damage. Heavy attack build, unlimited sustain. Cost reduction build, even then, sometimes you run out of resources. So there is no balance, and they need to fix this. Otherwise, it's really not nice. It's not good. So they need to change to revert the light and medium armor changes. They already heard. I think they're going to change something, but I don't know what yet. I think we'll see the next PTS patch notes. I think a lot of changes will go in there. Otherwise, yeah, because it's not good if only heavy attack builds can be viable. It just sucks. Because the rotation is kind of slow and all that kind of thing. It's weird. Sure, again, for me it doesn't matter, but I know a lot of people don't like this playstyle, so it's really something Zenimax needs to consider. That's the first thing. Again, heavy armor, whatever, rip. Well, not rip, but it's finally in a good place, let's say it like this. And even for, again, Battlegrounds will probably have no champion points. And like I said, they slightly nerfed the poisons, which is good, but they're still really strong. And with those changes here, it will be even like... I'm not sure if Battlegrounds will be fun for people if they leave those changes in the game. Put it simply. And another thing is, again, like, maybe they just put this in here to see, okay, let's do this and see how people do on PTS. If too many actually give feedback that it's not a good change, they will remove it again. But then they should communicate this. They have to tell us. Because now everybody's confused and don't know what's going on. Doesn't know what's going on. Now I quickly want to go through the classes, just to kind of elaborate more about the changes here, because some are not as bad as they look like. Magicka Dragon Knights actually got quite a huge buff, so I personally don't like the change here, but I can see that it's good for certain builds. I just like I like to invest into one resource pool on a Dragon Knight to gain more benefit through Battle Roar and Helping Hands as a stem decay. But next patch, this is like you still have to stack a lot of stamina because it also do more damage, but there is no point getting as much stamina as currently, because it will not give you more resources back when you use an ultimate ability from Battle Roar. Now what they did is they set it to 26k, so what does that mean? When I'm a Magicka Dragon Knight, I have like 15k stamina, 26k health, 30k Magicka. You will get slightly less Magicka back because it's kept at 26. about as much health as you currently get, and you will get more stamina back. So for a Magic Dragon Knight, it needs a lot of stamina to block, especially with the changes here. So Magic Dragon Knight is good. Stamina Dragon Knight, I think it's a small nerf. Again here, what they did is for being charged stamina or magicka to block an attack to 0.25 seconds. Now, this affects PvP a lot, not so much PvE, because no boss attacks every 0.25 seconds. Sure, sometimes you have ads and that stuff, but still. It's more about the PvP thing, and I do think that's a good change to make permablock builds not that much existent. So I personally do understand why they changed it, but do I like it? No, I don't, because it killed a unique playstyle. Helping Hands, same thing here. They just like 20k again for a Magic Dragon Knight. This is a buff. For all others, Stem Dragon Knights, it's a nerf. And another thing about the Major Mending, they want to tune down Major Mending on all classes so that you don't have uptime more than 50% or less, I don't know. But here it seems a slight overkill. What I wish them to do is that once the damage shield is removed, the Major Mending buff remains for 2 seconds and then gets removed. Because then you will get maybe, I don't know, a 50% uptime. But like it is now, it will be 5% or 10%, and that's basically useless. Sure, it's still there, but it's gone, okay? Another thing what they did with the Nightblade and Chilium, the rogue, actually had a really nice example showing off how it affected his stamina Nightblade sustain, showing off on a target skeleton. I will put the link into the description. The video is quite long, but it's worth watching, so go check it out. He explains it very well. And also about the whole changes and the resource management and what are the problems. I actually thought in Homestead, oh, okay, with the nerf to cost reduction from champion points, Stem and Magic and Nightblade could become quite strong again in PvE. PvP probably too. But then I read this and it's like, okay, bye. I really don't know why they changed this, and if they thought it's too strong, please just don't completely destroy the skill. Just reduce it by like 30% or 40% and then you're good to go. It's really weird. So yeah, it's... I mean, in the end, again, currently there is only heavy attack builds. It doesn't matter, but I also would like to see other builds than just heavy attack builds. Sorcs, here I'm overall surprised that they didn't get more nerfs, because PvE, it's all Sorcs. Like, you wanna do the most damage, you need to go Sorc. Sorc has so much more AoE and single target damage than any other class. It's insane. So, like, where are the changes, Zenimax? Another thing, Dark Exchange. I'm also surprised this didn't get the nerf, because, well, a nerf, let's say an adjustment, a small change to the skill. With all the cost reduction changes, this will become a very strong skill for PvE and PvP, because let's take Dark Deal on a Stem Sorc. It costs 3k magicka and restores 5k stamina, something like that. What I wish them to do, because this will be really strong PvP, it has a channel time, right? So when you interrupt it, you can interrupt it, but it's such a small time where you can interrupt it. It's almost impossible. What I wish them to do, to reward high risk play and also not make the skill completely OP and broken, that when somebody manages to interrupt you while you're using Dark Deal, for example, that first off, you don't get the resources, obviously, and secondly, you get punished by, like, that you get drained another, let's say, 3 or 4k magicka. So that actually rewards high risk play, so experienced players that know when to use the ability can't be interrupted, they get the resources back. people that use just spam it and get bashed get punished. This change also wouldn't affect PvE because no bosses whatsoever interrupt you when you do such kind of things. So I hope they consider this. I heard this from a friend. I was like, yeah, so actually sounds really nice, like a nice idea. Because he's playing Stem Sorc and he also thinks this is broken as, you know. Templars. Now here, my main issue once again is that it's basically the same synergy as necrotic orbs. And I don't think that's a good change. It shouldn't be the same because this is a class defining skill. This is from Undaunted. Every class has access to this. So it's just kind of kills Templars a little bit. It doesn't kill them, but it makes them less desirable. So yeah, I will get into that in a second. I will also go to the other patch notes that were just released. There you go. And here's something like, I don't know, apparently it's quite OP, but no, can be removed if break free. Power of the Light, Purifying Light. Now here I'm surprised that this didn't get nerfed, because currently in Homestead you can get to 10-15k procs of Power of the Light. This is completely broken. And in PvP, with no CP in Battlegrounds, they need to tune this skill down, otherwise that's all you will see. Stamina Templars with proc sets and Power of the Light, and you rip. Mending. Now they removed Major Mending, which I think is a mistake. They just should make that it has uptime of, let's say, 40 or 50%. Maybe even 60%, but not completely remove it. I also don't like the changes to Repentance. I think it's kind of overkill. Because the thing is, we don't know how it will affect rates or in PvE and PvP. Because people block a lot, because there's so much damage going on, and healers use Repentance to restore stamina so they can block longer, like all magic builds on stamina builds. But this is gone now. So I don't know how this change will impact the playstyle. But yeah, I don't like the change. Then some other things, like costs more and all that stuff. It's really weird. They also changed the cult drops to make stamina more viable. But again, Magicka just still has more AoE damage, mainly because of shock heavy attacks. For stem builds, you can't even use Steel Tornado anymore because of that. It's like, it costs too much. It's gone. Those patch notes were just released a day ago, so they kind of changed a little bit how Savage Beast works. I think that's a good change. So whenever you cast a Cliff Race or something, it procs. But remember, like this, I think this has a cooldown, otherwise it would be too strong, but I'm pretty sure it has a cooldown. They also changed how Major Mending is. They kind of tuned it down a little bit because there was a lot of uproar that Warden was pay to win, but obviously it's not. Like, if you tested Warden on the PTS, you know Warden is not pay to win. It's really simple. So it's 40% health now and it's only 3 seconds, right? I still wish they give it back to Magicka Templars, I really hope so, yeah. And just some other adjustments. They made a few adjustments here too, especially to the spears. I actually like this, so now whatever is your highest maximum, you get back. So if you have more max Magicka, you always get Magicka back. If you have more max stem, you always get stamina back. So I guess that's fine. But again, it's still the same as Necrotic Orb synergy. They need to unlink those two synergies, really. And another thing, Werewolf. It is already impossible to sustain with Werewolf, and next patch, you probably don't even need to use skills. Like, you need to do a light attack and your stamina is gone. They really need to tune down, like they need to reduce the cost of Werewolf abilities. I think they completely forgot about those, because I don't know how they will sustain. Werewolf got a huge nerf because of the animation cancelling changes like 3-4 patches ago. And now with Morrowind, if they don't change something again, it will get another huge nerf. So yeah. they need to change this. Now again, I will start doing videos about, just to show you kind of off where the problems are with heavy attacks and cost reduction builds, that they have a huge gap. And I also kind of want to compare Life and like Homestead and Morrowind with each other, with a few examples on a target skeleton, so make sure to check those out as soon as they're up. I also do have a video up here about the champion points changes, go check it out, and here you can find the new item sets where I talk a little bit about it, first impression, and I will also obviously show off more of those item sets, because some seem to be pretty cool. Anyway, thank you for watching, have a nice day, cheers.